Greetings, Judah. DFG here, Gideon's Flight. Hey guys, just want to take a few minutes of your time this morning, and I just wanted to bring back to your remembrance, and maybe I'm not bringing it back. Maybe I should say a better way. I want to remind us that don't listen to all the noise that is going around us. I'm talking about all of the media outlets, who continue to mislead the world, the nation of the world, because their God, Satan, is a deceiver and a liar. And he uses them and he used their media outlets to get us persuaded that what they're saying is true. And then on the other side, dissuades us to believe that what Yah, the creator, Elohim, has told us what is to come. And let me bring about a little clarity around that statement that I just made. You're listening to them talking about, the feds, which is the those who control the economics, of America and probably the economics of the world. They're going around telling everybody, don't worry, inflation is not coming, that, they have it under control. It's just a matter of time. The labor, force will increase. There'll be many, many jobs, and there'll be all the resources and supplies that one could ever need. Just give it to the end of the year. Well, if you remember, we were told that those lies over and over by the Trump administration. Y'all remember that? It's going to get better. We'll make America great again. All of that garbage. Who gives a damn about that? But about what he's saying, because again, they're deceivers, they're liars. So when you hear him talking about making America great again, I'm just comparing and contrasting so that you understand that, that's the same thing as the Biden administration and the Fed's doing right now, telling you we're going to make America great again. They're just using, different verbiage, because that's how the deceiver works. They kind of just change the language. When you figure out what they're doing, then it's kind of like the shell game. They change it up to make sure that they can create this illusion again, to persuade you again, to make a fool out of you again, to trust and to believe them. But the truth of it is that they're lying. They are absolutely lying. All you have to do, my brothers and sisters, is open up your eyes. Just open up your eyes and look around. And if your eyes are open and you can't see prices going up, you can't see, material shortages, food shortages, crime at an all-time high, that look in people's eyes that you see, the average person eyes that you look into, you can see that zombie stare most of the time when they're not looking at you. Look at them when they're not looking at you. Just step back and just today, watch people as you come and go. Just watch them. Now, when they look at you, they wake up. But watch them when they're not looking at you. And you can see that death stare in their eyes. In other words, they are lost. And you know why they're lost? Because of the climate that we're in right now, because we are in the last days. And a lot of those people that you're looking at, with that death stare in their eyes, that zombie-like look, they are going to be the people that you are going to have to be fearful of. And maybe the fear is not the right word. Maybe fear isn't the right word. Those are the people you're going to have to be weary of, leery of. Because see, it's hitting them now. It's hitting them now that they're in a shitstorm. That's why they got that death stare in their eyes. They have come to that conclusion that, all of this hope that they had, the so-called American dream that they were pursuing, was all a charade. And they know the bottom has fallen out. And soon the sky is going to crash in on them. They know it. This government know it. All the governments of the world know it, by the way. And yet you got a Fed who's telling everybody, just be patient, just be patient. We're going to keep interest rates down. There is no inflation. Guys, if you don't see that now, you're never going to see it. And then look at the globe. They're protesters they're protesting in Haiti. I mean, they just killed their president there. They're protesting in Cuba. They're the Taliban has gotten back in control of Afghanistan. Not that that really matters, because that's their nation, that's their country. We shouldn't have been there. America, the colonizers should have been there in the first place. So sad that so many, people had to die there, for the globalists of the world to enrich them, because they needed to get that opium. They needed those drugs. So you can tie that back to all your major pharmaceutical companies. You can credit all of that debt and mayhem to them. Not just the so-called Americans who died there, but all of the murder and mayhem that they caused in Afghanistan, of the Afghanistan people, Pakistani people, and people of that region, who they dropped bombs on, fire on, raped, murdered, slaughtered, all for absolutely nothing but to enrich the top 1%. And that's demonic. Those are the ones that when Satan tried to tempt, the Messiah, when he brought him up into that particular high place and showed him the glory of all the world and the different kingdoms, and promised him that he could have that if he was to sell his soul. Those are the ones who actually, sold their souls. And he did give them the power, and he has given them the glory. It's fraud, it's fake, but it's still glory. And they're using their media puppets, their governments of the world, to lie to you and tell you that things are going to get better. But it's not going to get better. It can't get better, because especially the Western nations, and I could, zero in on just America, but that would be, majoring in the minors, as they say. Because it's much, much bigger than that. That would just be that same arrogance that most of these Edomites have about how great they are. How they're the people of the Most High. When really, they're the crap of the earth. Their behavior has shown it, and everything else about them proves it. But I digress. But you look at the rest of the nations of the world. The West colonized those nations, robbed those nations of their resources. That has been the history of the West for the last 400-500 years. That's how the West was able to accumulate its wealth, by enslaving poor peoples of the world, and taking their resources and using them to get the resources. Murdering, raping, selling them into slavery, you name it, they did it. And that's how they have what they have. America included in that one. How you think America got to where it is today? Because they came here, found many of our ancestors already here, and they exploited this country for its natural resources, and they used us to collect those resources. And when we tried to resist or rebel, they enslaved us, murdered, killed us, sold us off, beat us, burned us, lied upon us, stigmatized us, genocided us, and they're still doing it. But they didn't understand that the book, the real truth, would catch up with them one day. Be not deceived, as Yeshua said, Elohim is not mocked. Whatever a man soweth, that's what he's also going to reap. And now the rest of the world too, because they were partakers in it. They were Confederate. Psalms 83 talks about it. Even those nations who were colonized and exploited. I'll give you an example. India. East India, the East Indians in India. They got their asses handed to them on a platter. I mean, the British pretty much told them a new ass. But you go look at the Indians now who come here. Look at the hatred they have to Yah's people. Go into India, look at the hatred that they have for the darker races in India. They call them the undesirables, the untouchables. And you would have thought that they were exploited and taken advantage of as a nation, that they would have, last thing they would want to do is do it unto others. But see, the heathen does not learn. That's why Yeshua said, don't cast your pearls to the swine, don't give what's holy to the dogs. See, the heathens do not learn. Because all the heathens look at as the greater heathen, and all they can dream of is being like their oppressors. And therefore, they have become as wicked as they were. But again, I don't want to pigeonhole them. That's just an example. There are many examples. You can even see it here with Israel. How many of our people have sold out for wealth, for money, for access, for privilege, for position, for power, for authority? All of them who have gotten that. You heard me right. All of them who have attained that have sold out, because Satan is not going to give that to them except they bow down and worship him. That's why many of the church leaders are so wealthy. Many of the prominent people in the churches are so wealthy. They're all in confederate with each other. In other words, they're all helping each other. It's a mean, dirty, nasty network. And it's bigger than most of our people understand. I'm talking about the people who are in the light. I'm not talking about, our people who choose to be, in the gutter. Our people who go around creating mayhem inside of their own communities. I'm not talking about them. They're just as wicked, as their captors. And self-hatred is the worst kind of hatred. And many of us in Israel, many of them, not us, not me, not you, I don't believe that. Because I don't think you would be listening to this channel, and I surely don't think you would be talking about the message of Elohim if you hated yourself. I think that's the ultimate love of oneself. That you would understand that you are, made in the image and likeness of Elohim, and that you are the apple of his eye. The fact that we come together and we teach this message, we walk this message, we try to live this message, it's demonstrative. In other words, we're demonstrating that we understand how much he loves us. But those amongst us who would go around and pull guns on one another, use violence against each other, talk evil behind the backs of one another, smiling in the face and then turn right back around and spewing out hatred behind you. That those of them who are jealous and envy of each other. Those who seek after the ways of their oppressors. Taking upon the oppressor's customs. That's practicing their religion, their holidays, their festivities. Adorning themselves in wicked apparel. Whether it's facial apparel, bodily apparel, the glamour, all of them. Those individuals whose souls have been, bartered. In other words, they bartered their lives for a moment of pleasure. And it's really sad because now they cannot even see where they're going. They all know they're going to die. Unless you're a special kind of stupid, you have to be pretty ignorant not to realize you're going to die. And yet they have no reverence for that. They don't respect that. They don't respect it. That's why it's so easy for them to go out and kill and go out and steal and destroy. I'm talking about our people right now. We know the heathens would do it. The book said that's what they would do. They're the seed of Satan. All those other nations. There is one exceptional nation, Israel. But now Israel has gone astray as a nation. And that's why the book says 2/3 of Israel is going to die. 3 in the room, 2 of those 3 are going to die and be destroyed by the wicked heathens who Yah is going to destroy them all. Without exception, he's not going to spare any of them. That's not in the book. The few strangers among them who will make it, they will make it because they lined themselves up under Israel, and they're going to stay right there where they are, come hell or high water. They rejected their own kind because they knew that they did not want to be a part of that wickedness. And they know that, and they came out. Just like there's a video going around where this Edomite female who's going around saying herself that white people know that we are Judah. That white people know the so-called Negro here in America, it's Israel, the people of the Most High. Just like that little wicked Tila, the killer. They know. I've said to you, they know. Satan gives them all the secrets. That's why they sell their soul. They sell their soul for that knowledge. But they have to swear they're not going to reveal that knowledge. And so they don't for the most part. But every now and then, one of them go rude thinking that they're, doing something special, and they expose it. And they only expose, not because, let me be clear, they expose it not because they have any particular love for us. No, Yah has caused them to expose it so that it would not be continue to be a secret to us. So that those of us who know who we are will understand, that Yah, is using them to bring, us out of the darkness until his glory is, revealing. And when we see his glory, then we see our glory. And that's all to the love that he has for us. The 1/3. You know what I'm saying? That one of those three who's not going to compromise herself, not going to compromise himself. They're not going to turn to the heathen. They're not going to accept the ways of the heathen. They're not going to be intimidated by the heathen. But they're going to keep their eyes on the heathen. They're going to keep their eyes on them because Yah said, watch. Watch. He said that a wise man would not allow a thief to break into his home and rob his home. A strong man. He said a strong man not going to let that happen. That's telling you to be prepared. These lying devils telling you don't prepare. You don't need to store up goods. You don't need to store up resources. Everything's going to work itself out. See, that's the lie that they talk about, and I think that's 2 Thessalonians talking about when they say peace, and maybe it's 1 Thessalonians 5 and 1 through 6. Say when they cry peace and safety, sudden destruction is going to come. See, that's what Yah is saying to us, that don't listen to them heathens. They lie. They use their media to lie, and they use their media puppets to lie. So let me be clear here too. If anyone is on a mass media outlet telling you something, understand they have already sold out. They are liars. They are wolves in sheep's clothing. I don't care if they're telling you things are going to go to hell or things are going to be a utopia. They are liars. Do not believe them. You need to turn it off. I'll be honest with you guys. You should turn that off. I will be seeking through the Rahuk. I will be praying unto Elohim and saying, Elohim, lead me to true messengers. Lead me to true watchmen, watch women, so that I may understand and be encouraged through them from you. That I'm not distracted by the liars, those who are controlled by the god of this world, Satan. And Satan has levels. And that's what you guys, I talked about that 1%. But guys, I'm talking about Satan has levels. There are principalities, municipalities. There are levels out there. See, sometimes we get caught up and they want to talk about the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds and the Oppenheimers. It's true. But they got levels. These levels come so low. Sometimes it's your local, it's your supervisor at work working for them. It's your managers at work working for them. It's your lawyer working for them. Your doctor working for them. Your preacher working for them. See, these layers come all the way down. See, many times we start looking so far over there, we don't even see, if we're looking at the enemy afar, and we forget that the enemy that's in the house. Did not Yeshua said that a man's own enemies will be those in his own home, his own household? That the daughters will be against the mothers and the fathers will be against, or the sons will be against their fathers. I know many of us don't want to believe that. Many of you guys are in denial. Oh, I don't believe that. I don't believe. Well, then you don't believe the word. You don't believe the word, but aren't you looking? There's no problems going on between you and your children. There's no resentment happening between you and your children. I'm talking about the adult children, probably the little ones now, because you left them in these witches' cavens, and I've warned you to take them out of. You allowed them in these witches' cavens, and now these kids coming home doing all kind of little wicked ass shit, and you're trying to figure out who taught that child that them witches, that you put them in those wizards called teachers, instructors, that you put them under their control when you left them in there for 8-9 hours a day, 5 days a week. That's who taught them. And the more they grow, the longer you leave them there, the more wicked they're going to become, and the more of your enemy they're going to be. I'm just telling you, the book says so. But there are layers of demonic, again, and I think that's something that we have to bring that forward because we're so busy looking at the government that we don't realize that, the hidden hand. I talked about, some of these hidden hands is the man you're sleeping with, sisters. And, the man you having children with, sisters. Brothers, same thing. The woman. And I gave you an example of the day. This man, you having children with this woman. You living with this woman. Hopefully, I'm assuming he was taking care of her. But he pulled a gun and put it to her head. They had no thought about it. None. But then you also hear these sisters robbing and drugging men, doing all kind of dastardly deeds, setting men up to get robbed, setting men up to be killed. So it's both sides. Women killing their husbands, killing their lovers, men killing their lovers, killing their wives. This is happening right here, right now, not only here in America, but all over the globe. Mass mayhem. And they're still crying to you peace and safety. Don't believe what your eyes showing you. Trust me. Trust what I say. Don't trust what you see. Just trust what I say. Doesn't that sound desperately wicked, cleverly wicked? All the proof is right there that this is evil, and they're telling you it's not. All the evidence is telling you this world is coming to an end, and they're telling you it isn't. Or what we're going to do in 2050, and what we're going to do in 2025, what we're going to do in 2031. But your eyes can't see what they're doing right here in 2021? If I told you 2 years ago that the world would be like it is today, I said the world would be like it is today, with all of these restrictions and demands that's put in play. You know what I'm talking about. You wouldn't have believed me. You would say, nah, he's using fear tactics. He's trying to scare us. He's crazy. Don't listen to him. He was a lunatic. But I'm sure we don't seem too crazy right now. And some of us were warning you of this years ago. I know y'all revealed it to me years ago. You can go back and check old videos. They're not very good messages, but you will hear me talking about prepare for what is to come. And as I'm warning you now, don't believe them. China has cut America off, guys. Russia has cut America off. Turkey, Venezuela, soon Brazil. There are other countries. Most of the countries Korea. These countries now have nuclear technology that America cannot do anything to them. And they're saying it. Putin is saying clearly. The China president said, we're not afraid of them. We're not worrying about America and its military anymore. We're far superior to them now. They've already not trading with the dollar anymore. They don't even want your dollars. And again, go back to inflation. They're telling you everything is normal. You have no problem. But yet you can go to the market and you can tell that they're running out of supplies. Go to the sporting goods stores and look around. Look at the racks. That's the clear. Again, use your eyes. You're so busy listening to them because you want to believe a lie because the book says that these things were going to happen, but you don't want to hear that. It's called cognitive dissonance. Convenient lies for uncomfortable truth. Many of our people don't want to deal with the truth. I know Americans as a whole damn sure don't want to deal with the truth. They'd rather go get guns and start killing and causing mayhem than to deal with the truth and then start blaming everybody. It's everybody but them. But they're the ones set up this government. They're damn sure being the ones who've been used to go throughout the world oppressing other nations and bringing some of our people with them, I might add. But now they don't want to deal with the reality, so therefore, now they're all upset and now they're emotionally distraught, and now you can go to channel after channel and they're whining and complaining, especially these farmers, these big rich cattle farmers. You know their channels. Most of them are white guys, let me be clear. And now they're trying to get empathy. Come on, empathize with us. The country is trying. No, because now their ass is, it's now time for them to ante up. They've gotten all this stolen wealth from their ancestors by exploiting our ancestors, stealing and killing our ancestors. and stealing abroad and murdering and taking resources and minerals from abroad. And now they don't have access to it anymore. And now they're crying in their beer. Woo-hoo-hoo. Well, cry on, devils. Cry on. Your reign is over, Edomites, Amorites, Moabites. Your reign is over. And I'm going to tell you something, Israelites. You had better come from amongst them. You better disattach yourself from these people. Those of you who are still lusting after the things they lust after. You better disassociate yourself while you still have time. And you had better prep and store up stuff that you're going to need. I'm talking about the essentials of life. And you better get ready for a cyber attack and an EPM attack. What is an EMP attack? That's when they're going to cut off the power. I'm going to make it simple for you. They're going to shut down the power. They're going to shut down the internet. And so if you don't have a way to survive without electricity, you don't have a way to survive without the internet, including your cell phone, which is ran by the internet, if you have no other means to communicate, to operate, and you have not prepared yourself to get other means to communicate and to operate, and to have a network of like-minded believers who all believe in Elohim, you're going to die. And you're going to die a miserable death. It's going to get so bad, some of you are going to be eating your own children. I can show you in this book. I don't have time to do it this morning. But I can show you in this book that it is prophesied. And I'm talking about with precepts. 4, 5, 6, 8, 9 different times in our book. That says that many of our people are going to become cannibals and eat their children because of starvation. Now you have to ask your question, is that going to be you? And this is not just going to happen here in America. This is going to happen all over this planet. This flat earth. Everything that's under the dome. Except for the elite, except for those who have the seal of Elohim in their forehead. What does that mean? That they have never taken their eyes off of Elohim. They came back to Yah. They have learned, to be obedient to Yah. They've learned to be disciplined. They've learned how to live with less. They have become honest within themselves. They understand the importance of building fellowship with other like-minded believers. And they have turned their backs on all the debauchery. They're not buying into the lies. Do as thy will. I can do anything I want to do. I'm a God. See, the believer, those of us in our right mind, we're not persuaded by that anymore. We see it, but we despise it now. Do you despise it? Or are you embracing it? Because if you're embracing it, and you really believe these liars who are telling you that tomorrow is going to be a better day, then I'm telling you, you're believing lies. That's the devil, that is Satan, who is making promises to dissuade you, to persuade you, to keep you from being prepared for what is to come. Our books say this thing is going to end suddenly. The power is going to drop suddenly. Fire is going to be rained down upon this earth suddenly. They're not going to tell you, oh, prepare. They're about to shoot a nuclear bomb over here. If anyone fired a nuclear bomb anywhere, not just here, if America fired one somewhere else, those people have probably minutes to get ready. You heard what I said? Minutes. Same thing over here. Minutes to prepare. And you say, well, DFG, well, then you sound like it's just hopeless. Then we don't stand a chance. My brothers, my sisters, if you're sealed by Elohim, I wouldn't be surprised if a nuclear bomb blew up around and somehow or another it went right over your head, right around you. That fire just came right up to you, went around you, and got the guy behind you. There's stories like that happening. They call miracles all the time. So no, it does not apply to you. I do know one thing Zechariah talks about in the end days. Go read Zechariah chapter 13 when he talked about their skin is going to melt on their body. Their eyes are going to melt in their socket. Their tongue is going to melt in their mouths. Zechariah 13. Telling you it's coming. Telling you it's going to come. But the book also says there's going to be a remnant, the elect. The book says that except for the elect's sake, Yah is going to shorten the day so that the elect are not taken away with the heathens. He's not going to judge. Yah is not an unrighteous, judge. I mean, we saw it with Sodom and Gomorrah. He did get Lot out of there. Lot was, he was somewhat decent. I mean, he could have did better because he stayed amongst them heathens. We saw it with Noah. Amen. So we've seen Yah move his people to safety when all hell is breaking out, when it's a global hell. So yes, for you, my brothers and sisters that are in the way, you are those who have come into your right mind, who have resisted and are resisting the God of this world and all of his, his lustful activities, all of his trinkets and all of his silver and all of his gold, his beads. For those of us who are saying, look, you can have that shit. I already know that this is over. I can look with my eyes and see this thing is over with. And the reason I brought up Russia and China and these other nations, because, again, these are where we've been getting most of our resources from. Talking about food, clothing, things of that nature. And they're pretty much said they're done. They're done letting America sanction them and do all kind of other little backdoor tricks on them to force them into submission. So therefore, things are not going to get better here. It's only going to get worse. And how long do you think it's going to be before one of these lunatics decide to start so-called World War III? How long do you think it's going to be that one of these suicidal fools is going to start something? And then the reign of terror will begin. The question is not if it's going to happen. The question is when it's going to happen and where will you be? Mothers, brothers, fathers, sisters, sons, daughters. The question is, where will you be? Will you be under the protection of the Rahuk? Will you be walking, in the power and the authority of Elohim? Or will you get caught out there unawares, playing, no focus, zombied out, being tempted by the God of this world and all those things that he's distracting you with, food and entertainment? The question is, again, where will you be? When the knock comes on your door, will you be like Lot's son-in-laws and say, no, we ain't going nowhere. I don't want to hear you with all that God talk, using their word. I don't hear your religious talk, although we don't live in a religious environment. Remember, they were all warned. Noah warned them too. The whole world was warned. All those cities were warned, as we're being warned. And for the most part, most didn't listen. Only a few, the elect, listened. And if you're listening, that's only because you are the elect. But I'll say this to you again. It's time now to turn away from this evil. It's time now to understand that this evil is only going to get progressively worse. The book doesn't say things don't get better. The book says man will wax worse and worse, deceiving and being deceived. But let me give you a little book before I let you go. All right? 5 minutes. All right? Watch. Let me read something to you. This is 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. Now I beseech you, brethren, by the coming of Adonai Yeshua HaMashiach, and by our gathering together unto him, which is what we're doing through these messages by the watchmen and watchwomen. This is what we're turning. Turn off social media, talking about that talking garbage and entertainment and foolishness. Mainstream media who just use liars to deceive you, con you, manipulate you. Gather with the believers, the like-minded believers. This is what he's saying here. that you be not soon shaken in mind or be troubled, neither by your Ruach, your spirit, nor by word, nor by the book, as from us, as the day of Yahuwah is at hand. So this is a prophecy that was being told. He said, don't be discouraged. Stay in the book. Don't let them tell you, oh, that's God. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear about no Rahu. Your spirit, you ain't no different than anybody else. Don't listen to them liars. You are different. You are different. When Satan told Eve, if you ate this fruit, you'll have the now you'll be like Elohim, and told her to disobey. This is pretty much how he did it. Oh, don't believe him. Don't take that. Don't take his word. She should have stuck with his word, and Adam should have stuck with the word too, I might add. Are you going to stick with the word, or are you going to be letting these outliers tempt you and draw you out of there? Your man, your woman. You going to let them tempt you and cause you to fall? Your children, with their sophisticated education, now they're so smart that now you shot them out of your ass, and now they're so smart they're calling you an asshole. The audacity of them. Just no respect. Even if they don't agree with your parents, they should be honorable and keep their damn mouths shut. But they won't because they're arrogant, high-minded, because the God of this world has poisoned their minds, that they believe not the truth. Therefore, they believe a lie. Amen? I'm going to get to that. Praise Yah. Verse 3. Let no man deceive you by any means, for the day shall not come except there be a falling away first. In other words, people turning away from the book. And that the man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition, Satan, the Antichrist, the false prophet. Remember we talked about that yesterday in 2 Corinthians chapter 11, verse, the ministers, Satan has transformed himself into an angel of light, and his ministers as angels of righteousness. This is who we're talking about. And we see them now. The church and the government now are telling you to do the same thing. I'm talking about the big this. Go do the big this. Now, you know what that is? That's an alphabet letter. Figure it out. You're smart enough. The church and government is telling you to do it now. Thought there was a separation between the two, which is a lie, bullshit. But, I'm just saying it because that's what, the liars said. To seduce you into believing that somehow you had independence when you're in these damn hellholes called churches. And that includes mosques, temples, synagogues, etc. Verse 4. Who oppresses and exalts himself above all that is called Yah, or that is worshipped, so that as Yah, he sits in the temple of Yahuwah, showing himself that he is Yahuwah. Remember you not that when I was with you, I told you these things. See, the book warned us that the day would come, that all these false prophets and all these false teachers would be calling you to come, and that you were to resist them, and you were to turn away from them. You were to come out from among them, that you were not to listen to them, so that you would not be deceived. Some of us have listened. Many of us have not. And now you know it, hold it, that it might be revealed in this time. Yah was saying, I had something in the earth that was keeping him hidden. Now Yah says, I have revealed, I've removed that out of the earth now. And now you see the debauchery. You see the wickedness all over the land. You see the famine about to come. The diseases that are already here. You see it now. The war, the earthquakes, the storms. Fire, sky, just everything you can imagine. The debauchery. The encouraging of wicked behaviors that go totally against the laws and the statutes of Elohim. You see it now. We all see it. But some of us are resisting it, and some of us are embracing it. Woe unto you who call good evil and evil good, is what the Messiah told us. Elohim told us. He said, woe unto you. Hell is coming to you for calling evil good, and then taking and saying good is evil. What's good? Your word is good. The walk is good. The lifestyle of the believer is good. Everything else is wicked and evil and will be destroyed. very soon. Verse 7, he says, for the mystery of iniquity does already work. Only he who now lets it will let until he be taken out of the way. Talking about the very presence of Elohim. See, Yah is now moving his spirit out the way. I just read it to you. And now you're going to see this wickedness take go to a whole nother level, my sisters and brothers. You had better prepare yourself, sisters and brothers. Not only with physical goods, but you better prepare yourself with the feeling of the Rahuk. And you had better understand what is to come by learning and studying and teaching his word. Amen? You better. Do you have a testimony? How many of you guys have your testimonies together? Remember we read that yesterday. They overcame the evil one by the word of their testimony. Revelations 12, right? Remember that? How many of you guys have your testimonies ready? What have you done? What have you done today? What did you do yesterday? What are you going to do tomorrow, y'all willing? Is your testimony ready? Have you witnessed? Have you forewarned? Have you professed the faith? I'm talking about who you are. Are you still in denial that you're the people of Israel? Are you still calling yourself a Christian? Are you still saying that a white man on the cross is your savior? I'm just asking these questions because these are questions that you're going to have to deal with. If you're still walking that way, I'm telling you, you are walking on the path of destruction. And you don't have a lot of time to turn around. Now is the time. Y'all say the day you hear my voice, harden not your heart. Now is the time. The day is the day of repentance. You know, if you stand a chance. Amen. Verse 8. And then shall the Toraless one, the one who do not believe in the book, the Toraless one, be revealed, whom Elohim, Yeshua, shall consume with the Rahuk of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. Even him whose coming is after the working of Satan. And get this. See this Satan, this demon. Look at this is what these demons are going to be able to do in plain sight. All of us are going to witness. And he's telling us this so that we're not deceived when we start seeing these miracles, these things happening. He's bringing it out. So you see it, you don't get thinking, oh, that must be, or they must be right. Oh, they got to know what they're talking about. They are liars. They are deceivers. Look what it goes on to say. Even him whose working is after the coming of Satan with all power. You know what all means? All power, all signs and lying wonders. Lying. And he's going to lie to you about everything. This is necessary. You need to do this. If you want to do this, things will get better. Things can't get better until you do this. Lying. Lying. He is going to lie to you. And the people are going to listen and they're going to be overwhelmed and they're going to die and go to hell. And with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish. In other words, all of those, including those of us who listen and are following that way and listening to this government and all these so-called knowledgeable people, these media people, these government officials, these financial people, these money changers, all of these people in entertainment and those industries who are telling you that it's okay to do whatever you want to do, say whatever you want to say, act however you want to act, disrespect whoever you want to disrespect, kill, lie, murder, steal, doesn't matter, just go get the bag. All of them, he says here, with deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish because they receive not the love of the truth that they might be saved. And then he goes on to say, now that's what I'm saying. A lot of you guys are caught up in this stuff. These actors, these entertainers, these professional people here and there are pushing these certain agendas and you're believing them because you think that they're right. No, if you're believing them and you're listening to them, you're going to perish. You're going to perish. That's what the book says. Verse 11. And he said, because you refused to hear the truth when you heard it, as you're listening today, he said, Elohim will send them a strong delusion that they shall believe a lie, that they all might be damned who believe not the truth, but had pleasure in unrighteousness. I don't think I could have said it any clearer, and I surely couldn't have read it any better, and I did get it out of the book. Pleasure in unrighteousness. You tell me that's not the time that we're in right now. All this unrighteousness, they're perpetuating, they're promoting, they're selling, they're encouraging you to do. Our children to do. Because you know why? The Rahuk is taken out of this world now. If it ain't in you, you may be in trouble, my brothers and sisters. And now the man of sin, all the evil, the wickedness now is revealing itself. And you ain't seeing nothing yet. Wait till you start seeing things coming from under this ground. These half human, half animal like things that are coming. Book describes in Revelation like scorpions. You wait. You're about to see things that's going to, if your heart ain't right for Elohim, you're going to have a heart attack. You ain't going to be able to take it, brothers and sisters. They got some stuff that's coming that you can't even imagine what's coming. And those things are already here. They just got them in these labs. But before they're going to show it to you, they got to have your body ready for it, if you know what I mean. Amen? So this is what I got for you today. I would strongly encourage you to go back and read 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. Start at verse 1 and go down to verse 13. All right? I would encourage you to read it. But more importantly, don't believe the lies. Don't believe the hype. These people are telling you peace and safety. No, sudden destruction. It's not only this thing is over with, guys. The curtain has fallen. The people just don't want to go home. The people just don't want to leave the auditorium because they're looking for what they call that, an encore. So they want the, how you go to a concert and when they finish, they leave and everybody start clapping, clap, and then they come out and do one more song. See, the people are waiting for one more song. There ain't gonna be no other song because the next song they're gonna hear is judgment, the final judgment. The question is, where will you be when that trumpet sounds? Amen? All right. DFG. Talk to you later. Bye now.